What's up everybody, Jared here with carbuzz.com, and today I am bringing you a review of a brand new Porsche. This is the 2023 Porsche 911 Carrera T. Now, this is a very specific model within the 911 lineup. So you have the base Carrera, and then you have the Carrera S, and the Carrera T slots in between those two cars, so you get the base engine from a Carrera, but with some of the sporty equipment that you could otherwise only get on the Carrera S, plus some weight-saving elements. So this is, if you're looking for the purest 911 driving experience and you don't want the power or the cost of a GT3, the Carrera T could be the model for you. So let's take a look at the outside really quick. This particular model is finished in Guards Red, which is a classic Porsche color. It's one of a few free colors that you can get on the Carrera T. I think it looks really great. It's always a great color. We have a few optional extras on this car, including the Porsche LED headlights that I think look really nice. As standard, you're going to get staggered Carrera S wheels, 19 or 20 inches in the front, 21 inches there at the back, but there are other wheel options that you can get on this car as well. We also have Porsche Active Suspension, PASM as they call it, 10 millimeters lower than a standard Carrera. That is something that you can only get on the Carrera T, not the base Carrera. We've got 245 tires in the front, 305s in the rear. We also have this sticker that says Carrera T. That is something that you can delete if you're not a big fan of stickers. We have gray wheels that match these gray mirrors here. That is a Carrera T thing. To save weight, we've got thinner glass here on all of the windows, so this car is a little bit louder than a standard Carrera or Carrera S inside, if you like that sort of thing. Here at the back, we have styling that is pretty similar to the standard Carrera. Of course, it does say Carrera T here in the back, but this is Porsche, so if you don't want people to know you have a Carrera T, you can have it just say 911 or delete it altogether. We do have black exhaust pipes leading to a sports exhaust that does come standard on the Carrera T. I believe that is also not available on the standard Carrera. So let's go ahead and step on inside. We have these door handles that kind of pop out from the door, as we do on all 992 generation 911s. Now the Carrera T has a few special touches in here that we're going to talk about. So we do have 911 Carrera T tread plates here. Here we have the way to open up our engine and our frunk. I'll go ahead and show you those real quick. Under the hood, we don't have much. You really can't see much of the engine here on any 911 model, but this is a 3-liter twin turbo flat 6. As I mentioned, it is the same power output as the base Carrera, which we'll talk about a little bit more out on the road. And then up front, we've got our frunk, which is quite sizable. You can put like a small suitcase in there, but as you'll see, we do have a little bit more storage besides that. So here on the inside, the Carrera T is made to be lightweight. So as standard, you're going to get 4-way adjustable sport seats, but you can option different ones if you want more comfort or you want something more aggressive. So these are the 18-way adjustable seats. So you can see we have a lot more different ways of adjustment here. And we have Porsche's Sport Tex material here in the middle. It's like a cloth. I absolutely love this seat with the leather outer. We have like a $7,000 interior package here that gets you like more leather here on the outside. We have 911 stitched in the matching gray to what we saw on the outside. You also have gray seat belts. You can get these in lizard green if you want that as well. You can also get the stitching in lizard green if you prefer that look as well. This is more of a monotone interior, what we have here. Now the big thing on the Carrera T versus other 911 models is there is no back seat. They have deleted it to save weight, so instead you just get this nice carpeted area. It is perfect for bags, duffel bags or whatever. They will not go rolling. You can put stuff up there too, but that actually might go flying unless you put like a net or something back there. You can add the rear seat for no cost because Porsche realizes some of its customers will want that rear seat, but this one does not have it. We have this nice silver backing on here as well. And in addition to these 18-way power seats, you can also get, I believe they are mostly fixed, they're manual carbon fiber bucket seats. That is the most aggressive option. I don't recommend those unless you are a hardcore enthusiast because they are not super comfortable to drive in every day. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up. So we've got our sport steering wheel as standard here. We have keyless entry over here. You just turn this little switch. To start it up, I'm gonna go ahead and shut the door. And we'll talk a little bit about the interior here. So you can get either a 7-speed manual transmission, which is what we have here. So your reverse is going to be over all the way and to the left. And you do have a 7th gear that you can only access via 6th gear, which is kind of interesting. Other stuff in here, we have the new Porsche infotainment system. I haven't had a ton of time to play around with this, but it does seem a lot better than the last Porsche infotainment system that I used. They really changed the iconography and the menus and everything like that. We have our adaptive damper button here. We have our louder exhaust button right here. So I do like that there are like a decent number of physical controls here as well, which is quite nice. And we have our beautiful gauges. So we have our center tachometer in the middle there. You can see as I rev it up, that is a nice physical gauge. And then the outer 4 dials on either side are digital. So we do have still that analog tach in there as well. So that is basically the 911T experience. I mentioned the sound deadening that's going to take the weight down. So this is about 100 pounds lighter than a standard Carrera, but you don't really care about all of that. You probably want me to get this car out on the road. So without further ado, let's go drive the Carrera T out on Angeles Crest. All right, so now let's get on the road with the 911 Carrera T. And according to Porsche themselves, this is what you would buy if you were a purist seeking a 911 experience, because this is kind of your bare bones Carrera, but with even more weight savings and just all that sporty good stuff that you want on the high-end models, but without all of the power. So I've mentioned before, we have a 3-liter twin turbocharged flat 6. It's the same engine that you get in the base Carrera. 379 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque. That doesn't sound like a whole ton when there are supercars out there producing 500, 600, 700 horsepower, but with the twin turbo element, it really just doesn't matter what gear you in, you have plenty of power. This thing feels incredibly quick. Take it from somebody who drives a 20-year-old Porsche, this thing feels, definitely sports car or even supercar quick. Now you can get that with this 7-speed manual that we're driving, or you can get an 8-speed PDK. Honestly, the PDK is awesome. I have driven it before on 911 models, but I think if you are getting a Carrera T, you want that pure experience. You want the manual. The manual is a little bit lighter as well, so I think it kind of defeats the purpose of the Carrera T to get the PDK with this car. If you do get the PDK, you are going to be a little bit quicker, 3.8 seconds from 0 to 60, 4.3 if you get this 7-speed manual. Come on, 4.3 seconds, I think that's quick enough. And no matter which one you get, you're going to have a top speed of 181 miles an hour, which I think is plenty. All right, so other than the power, which is the lowest that you can get in a 911, that is not really the reason why you get the Carrera T over a base Carrera or over a Carrera S. It's all the stuff that you could get as standard on this that you can't get on the base Carrera. So PASM, the sport suspension, that is standard with the 10mm ride height reduction. You get a mechanical limited slip differential with torque vectoring. You can't get that on a base Carrera. You have to upgrade to a Carrera S for that. You can also get optional, we have it on this car, rear wheel steering. So that is going to nudge you around the corners. It's going to give you a really good turning radius. And honestly, I didn't love it when I pushed it in the Carrera GTS, but it's not as noticeable to me in this car. And I don't know if I would get it. I would probably just not get that option just to save weight and keep the car simple, but I am noticing that the rear wheel steering on this is a little more predictable than the last time I drove a 911. Perhaps that's just because this has a lot less power and I'm able to, just maneuver this car a little bit better. I'm more familiar with Angela's Crest that I'm driving on right now. Now, in addition, I've mentioned that this is about 100 pounds lighter, they say, than a Carrera, which only comes as PDK. You get a lot of that from the rear seat delete, but you also get it from the thinner glass, you get it from less sound deadening. You also get a smaller car battery, which is kind of an interesting way to save weight. And all of that makes the 911 feel super chuckable. I think this is like a 3,200 pound car. If you option it right, you can obviously make it a little bit heavier with some of the options that we have on this car, but oh my gosh, the steering is just so precise. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back into Sport Plus mode. So we have the full feeling, we have the exhaust. We actually have an optional power steering plus on this car with the different ratios. I love how small the wheel feels, especially compared to a lot of modern cars. You can just really chuck this thing into corners and it just grips and grips and grips for days. Complaints, I don't really have many. It really doesn't sound all that much louder on the highway, which is great. The thing that I don't like is the same problem that I had with the GTS model, and that is it is just so long-legged. On Angela's Crest, I've been in third gear most of the time. You just barely even need fourth. You're doing like outrageous speeds even in third gear. So that's the one thing. This is a manual car. I want to be like rowing the gears. I want to go second, third, up to fourth, back into third, and I'm just not really able to do that because even with this base engine, I'm able to just carry so much speed here that I seldom need to touch fourth. I'm doing it now just to kind of keep the engine down so that I can, talk to you better, but you really don't need fourth gear. Woo! God, this thing is so fast. And this is the least powerful 911 that you can get. It's absolutely staggering to me that they offer just like so many trims that have more power than this. It's absolutely outrageous. It's a great car, and honestly, I think if I were getting a 911, I haven't driven a GT3, unfortunately, because I hear that is just such a great raw experience with that 4-liter naturally aspirated flat six, but I don't feel like I need the power. I feel like I have plenty of power in this. I never feel underwhelmed by the power, and if you're looking to just get the most raw, pure experience, I think this is exactly how I would do it. They just unlocked a new Ruby Star color on the 911. I think I would do that. Keep the manual, keep the 4-way seats, although these 18-way seats are pretty darn comfortable, and call it a day. I wouldn't go too crazy on the options. If you want to go crazy on the options, get a Carrera S. But Carrera T, super fun to drive. I mean, it's a 911. Why wouldn't it be? All right, so that was the 2023 Porsche 911 Carrera T. If the Carrera T speaks to you as the 911 that you want, pricing starts at $116,000, which is a good amount more than a base Carrera. It's actually a little bit closer to a Carrera S, but since you cannot get a manual transmission on the Carrera, this is a really unique point in the 911 lineup if you want kind of a driver's car, but you don't want the craziness of a GT3 or a GTS or even the cost. This car that I've shown you with the 18-way sport seats and a few other options is closer to about $134,000. So this is not cheap by any respect, but when people are paying $200,000 plus markups for GT3 Tourings, it's not such a bad value. I really do like the 911 Carrera T. The only thing that would maybe stop me from buying this car is that I love the normally aspirated Boxster and Cayman GTS 4.0. Those cars just have that really nice sound, but this does have that turbo power that could probably beat those cars in a drag race. So let me know in the comments what you thought of the Porsche 911 Carrera T. Is this the 911 model that you would buy, or would you buy a different model, or would you buy one of the 718 twins like I would? Let me know in the comments, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell to be alerted of our latest videos. I'll see you next time.